Now, anytime. Okay, and we are live with the NSFW podcast. We are here with the legend, Kimber Haven. How are you doing?
You're scoring points already. I love the legend thing. Hi.
Well, you've been around. Well, I mean, you've been around forever. Me and you have talked a little bit. I've seen some of your content. You've also been nominated for the Best Trans Cam Model from XBit's Creator Awards. What's that like?
Was I?
You've been nominated. Apparently, you've been nominated for the
Was
best.
I? I
What?
mean,
I've
okay.
been doing.
This sounds really narcissistic of me, but like I've been nominated for hundreds of things. This is like, was I? I don't know. I'm
According
like,
to according to my research, you have been. I don't know.
oh,
And look, nothing is narcissistic when it's on this show because we are literally here to talk about you. So
well, I never win anyway, so it's not that much narcissism. So
it's not narcissism at all. So, I mean, we are
You know
literally
what?
here to talk about you. So gush about yourself.
I think the entire process of the award show and porn prom is a little pretentious in the first place. It's a little
Yeah,
ego stroking. So
I can see that. And also, you host your own radio show called Totally Inappropriate. How's that
I
going?
did. How's that going? Well, we have 440,000 weekly listeners. We are the number one show on the network, Skyhawk After Dark. And basically, it's just me and my girls that get on every week and talk about our ridiculous lives that we live and political discussions of the day, bullshit that pisses us off, and we do it without filter. We don't have any restrictions from our radio network, so we can say whatever we want. So we
That
tend to offend a lot of people, which is why it's called the Totally Inappropriate Radio Show. We want people to know what you're walking into when you come in the door.
So kind of
I
like
can
us
see
with the
that
Not Safe for Work podcast.
pretty
Yeah,
much. Except,
we say a lot, and I have a radio character. I don't really portray myself on radio. I have kind of a persona I do on the radio, and it's kind of a combination of the Violator from Hot Tub Time Machine and Archie Bunker. I try to play the most over the top, hateful piece of shit out there just to get hate mail. So I try to make people despise me when I'm on radio. I'm the bad guy. And then Raven Rocks, my co-host, is this sweet, innocent one, and she plays the good guy, and they're all rooting for her. So we have a dynamic. So we have little personalities on the radio there, a little bit different than our real life personalities.
that's
Well, I mean,
cool, actually.
everyone likes drama.
Well, drama sells. Drama and sex sells, bottom line. Um,
Yeah.
so let's go into a little bit here. How did you get into this world of adult filming? What brought you
Well,
into it?
I started off cam modeling. Um, I I was bored. I was at home bored. I did well for myself in life, and I was able to retire early. So by the time I was 40, I was retired and self sufficient. And I just got really bored, and I started going on cam and doing cam shows, entertaining people just to see how people would react. And I got really popular. It was a site called Adult Friend Finder. And people kept asking me, why don't you do this for a living? Why don't you make money camming? So I said, okay. So I signed up for Chatterbait. And they kicked me back and they said that I wasn't accepted because I sent in my driver's license, which did not have an updated picture of me. So they did not believe I was the same person in my driver's license. And I tried to explain to them I was, a transsexual. Didn't always look like this, but they still didn't accept my driver's license. So I had to go get a new driver's license. I sent it into Chatterbait, got a show, and it became really big because I would do like celebrity impressions and jokes and comedy. I would dance. It was a whole variety show with it wasn't just tug action. It was a whole variety show of me trying to entertain my audience and make them laugh. So it got big and popular. And eventually another Kentucky native a Hall of Famer in the AVNs, a porn legend, Wendy Williams, discovered my cam show. And she discovered me and asked me if I wanted to get involved in adult industry. So I was retired. I was bored. I was looking for thrills. So I took up her offer and she took me under her wing.
Wow, that's really
So
cool.
I have one question. Like with the sex cams and like trying to get on these websites, you as a transsexual, has it been particularly difficult, like besides the ID thing, or like how has that been like as far as acceptance on there?
Big huge cam companies that forbid us from even performing on their site. They're straight up bigoted. They're like, no trannies. My Free Cams is a good example. My Free Cams is a huge site, and they have a policy saying women only, and they don't recognize us as women. So we're not
Oh,
allowed to
that's
make
stupid.
profiles and cam on their sites. So they're a women only camming site, so they won't allow us, permit us. And they're one of the biggest cam sites. So there's still a tremendous amount of bigotry towards us, but a lot of the cam sites have let us in because they know we're big money makers for them. And there comes a time where your bigotry is not as much as your greed. And these companies start realizing that we are a huge business and we bring in the money. So it's become more accepting just because it's been so financially profitable. We sell, so they've started accepting us because they want a piece of the action.
Wow,
Which
that's
is still
crazy. I
silly
never knew that.
because
I never knew that.
that's
Yeah.
like, during the month of June, I share my birthday month with Pride Month. And I'm just over here like I could not be happier. But it's one of those things where you see these, stores that like they're against LGBTQ, and then all of a sudden they have all the pride flags, they have all the pride materials, and I'm just like, that is so silly.
There's a lot of companies like the AVNs. The AVNs only within the last probably 8 to 9 years has even had trans categories or even allowed us to participate. But it became undeniable that over the billion-dollar industry, we were a huge chunk of it. And we were the number 2 most popular porn category in the entire world, second only to teen. So
Wow, that's crazy.
So
yeah,
you would say
so
that yours is like one of the most popular, like your
yeah,
category.
because trans porn appeals to not only men, but it also appeals to women. It appeals to gay men. It appeals to lesbians. It appeals to straight men. It appeals to straight women. It crosses gender lines in such a fluid way that there's something in it that everybody can find interesting or attractive in some way.
Interesting.
That
So,
is a true point, though.
mhm. So I've seen the majority of your content. If you had to pick one thing from your content that you enjoy the most, whether it's an actual film you've done or just a scene, what would it be and why?
Really, none of it. Work. What people don't understand, I work 10 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I get 2 days off a month. And my content, I put a lot of passion into it, but at the same time, it's work. It's like asking a person with a normal job, what's your favorite part of your workday? And they're like, the time I clock out. That's my favorite part of the fucking workday. And it's the same for porn stars because, yes, it's our job to look like we're having fun. And most of the time, we're having fun at work, but at the same time, we've been doing it for 12 hours. We're sweaty, we're hot, we're tired. It's a job. So, I mean, I've had projects I'm very proud of, like T-Girl Space Pirates and shit, but that took 6 months to film, 6 months of my life to complete. And, it was a huge undertaking. So, I mean, my favorite scene is, the one that's done in the can and I can put it on a site and don't have to worry about it anymore. It's off my
I can see
editing
that.
doc.
So
I
Yeah,
can
would
so
see
you
that.
say that like the beginning of your career with this has changed to what it is now? Like in the beginning, were you excited about it, and then now you're just kind of like, oh, it's just a job, or
everybody isn't everybody. I mean, if you want to be a cop, you go in there to save lives. And then after you've been on the force for 15 years, you have a belly and you're like, and you hear a call coming and you're like, fuck that, I'm on lunch. I mean, you do a job for so long. I mean, if you love cars and your dream is to be a mechanic, or even if you're an artist and your dream is to be a comic book artist and you dream of that, and you finally get the job, and then you have deadlines, you have a boss yelling at you all the time, and you can't make your fucking deadlines, your job's on the line, you're fucking stressing out. Now it's not your love, your passion is how you pay your bills. And it completely changes the dynamic of how excited you are about it. When it's the thing you use to
what
pay
kills most things.
yeah, it's like you start out loving it, but over the course of time, it's just like M&Ms. If you love M&Ms, eat them for a week. See how much you love them after a week. Just eat nothing but M&Ms.
That's like that. That's like the ramen noodle diet. Like they say that if you go on the ramen noodle diet, it just takes you off of food completely because your brain just gets bored of it. And I'm just like, no, I would get bored of the noodles, not the food.
Now I love what I do. I would not want to have any other job. But at the same time, it's a job and I do it a lot and I've done it for a very long time. But I do have fun at work and I'm very genuine in my scenes in the way that I never do a scene that I don't want to do that I don't think I'll be genuine in. So if it's something that doesn't turn me on or that I'm not into, I won't do the scene because I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to be one of those. I watch those porns and I can tell these girls are just awfully faking it. And it takes me out of it. So I want to be genuine in my performances. So I always shoot the porn that turns me on. That way, when I do it, I'm turned on.
Right.
That makes it a little bit more fun, I would say.
I get to shoot whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. So now I'm going to pose a random question to both of you. If you could be born in any era, what would it be and why?
Now,
any generation.
Yes, it sucked when I was a kid, and I'm sure it sucked worse when my dad was a kid because I had no cell phone. I had nothing. I mean, I had to use a map. My playground, growing up, my playground was like this rusty board with splinters and an iron bar face level that you went up in the air and came down and bashed your face, or it was a metal circle of death that you spun at high speeds, or metal slide that you got third-degree burns coming down. I mean, my childhood sucked ass. And then my toys sucked. I have toys like this shit. Like this shit. I didn't have this shit when I was a kid. Fuck when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it sucked. And I can't imagine how much it sucked before then. I mean, I had no cell phone. I had a cord on my phone. I had an 8-track player. I had an 8-track player in my fucking car. I'm old. I could listen to 4 songs over and over and over. It sucked.
You know, Mike, she has a point. She really has a point.
Look, I had a cord on my phone. I had the metal slide. I'm just saying.
Me
it's
too.
A random question to throw out there.
When the hell, Mike, do you think you would prefer to live? I'm dying to know, because if it's any time before now, you ain't going to have very good medical access.
See, those are the aspects that you have to take into account too. See, I like the style of like the rockabilly era and like the music and stuff like that, but I would not want to like live in it because one, you have the 1950s housewife, you know, that stuff sucks.
Well, black people have to use a separate bathroom.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you had the segregation, you had, you know, all this phobias of everything, like, you know, transphobia for one, homophobia, you know, nobody wanted it. I mean, there was just a whole bunch of stuff
on TV.
Yeah.
For me, look what you have to watch on TV. Where are you going to fucking watch when you're bored? Leave It to Beaver?
Well, see, the thing is, I like the idea of like the drive-ins they had and stuff like that. But, you know, I live in a place. Well, see, I was about to say, like, now it's like we still have drive-ins. There's one right up the street. I can walk to it. And I love it. Because they're still here.
It's safer now because back in our day, there was no safety standards whatsoever. Zero.
Hey, I was
It was
raised in the 90s,
don't.
and I was a free range chicken.
I
I
mean,
was a free range chicken.
when we were kids, it was completely sink or swim because when we were kids, we were literally locked out of the house. Weekend came, they're like, get out of the fucking house, don't come back till dinner. And we had to drink from the fucking hose because we dare not come back in the house. We were exiled from our own home. Our parents didn't even want us around. We were sink or swim. Our parents didn't give us cell phones to know where we are. They didn't give a fuck where we were. They didn't want to know. We even had a commercial that came on that said, do you know where your kids are at every night?
I remember that.
Because nobody gave a fuck. They had to remind parents. You have kids.
My thing is, I was raised in the 90s, but I was raised as a farm kid. So we had a few acres where you could just go and explore. And it was literally that lock them out of the house, go drink from the hose, good luck, come back when it's dark.
Now parents have connection to their kids. Like, make sure you have your cell phone. Let me know when you're there. Let me know where you are. It's like in our day, we didn't want to fucking know. Our parents were like, I don't care. If you die, we'll make another one. That's how it works. So go. Have our feet done.
All right, you asked me a question, Kimber. What era would I want to be in, right? Okay.
Yes.
The era I would identify with more and want to be in is the Wild West era. Because you can come and go as you please. Just like how it was whenever I was.
Go on, cowboy, die from that frostbite, die from all that stuff.
Die from tuberculosis? Jesus.
Or like Arthur Morgan.
You want to get
that like Arthur Morgan?
We still have fucking leprosy, god damn it.
Look, okay, it's just where I would want to grow up. I mean, it just seems like it'd be a cool place.
Torn apart by a fucking bear?
First of all, I would kill the bear. Damn it.
We don't know this. Okay, look, they still had like the little pistols where you had to like slow shot this shit, okay? A bear
Also,
would have nothing. Look, you would have nothing on that bear.
Your car through town is a horse. Do you know how bad town must smell? And even if you get away from the fucking town street that has nothing but just caked fucking horse shit everywhere. Even if you get past that and you go into the saloon, can you imagine how bad people smell? How bad people smell.
Well, it's like medieval eras. It's like the medieval eras. They only took a bath like once a year. And people are like, oh, well, it's the most romantic time. And it's like, no, it's not.
You know, fucking people coughing up their lung, literally. Lice is everywhere. People don't shower.
Bed bugs.
Yeah, but that's the era I want to be in. I'm sorry. Okay, I like that era. Don't judge me, damn it.
Okay, look. You would be like 5 years old getting shot by another 5-year-old, okay? Because that 5-year-old, you took their toy. Okay?
You play video games, right?
Play video games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone. No video game for you. You're in the West.
Okay.
No modern medicine either.
And I hope you like the blandest fucking food. All you're going to get is unseasoned, soggy fucking meat and potatoes, motherfucker.
Isn't that what everyone drank?
Really what?
I said, isn't that why everyone drank? They couldn't get around the meat and potatoes that were just bland.
So bad back in the olden days. The food was just so shitty. I mean, now you can go down to a nice bistro.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it was me, that's what I would want to do. But that's just
I'm into a little more modern stuff, as you can tell.
Yes, I can tell that. I can tell that. You're
an astromech and a Jawa behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had seen the Baby Yoda, and I was like, oh, she must really be into Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, that's my animatronic Grogu, and that's my Millennium Falcon. And over on this shelf is all my action figures. And up there on the wall is my flux
that's
capacitor.
Impressive.
That's my flux capacitor.
Wow. So now let's talk about the nerd stuff, okay? Where do,
Okay.
how do you
Anyway,
rank? How do you rank the Star Wars films from best to worst? How do you rank them?
I have enjoyed all of them, some more than others, except the fucking last three movies with Ray. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them.
I was about to say, I was like, do you like the newer ones?
Those three
Right.
new ones suck so much ass, it's unreal.
I can
And
agree with that.
for me, my top three Star Wars films was the original one, Episode 3, and then
Wait,
what
wait,
was the
wait,
Star
wait,
Wars?
wait, wait, wait. Original one, episode 3. Episode 3 was a prequel.
Well,
Episode
well,
4 was the first sequel.
I
Ooh,
like
she's
the
about to
story.
get you, Mike.
I know she is. I know. That's why I opened this can of worms. I know. Okay, for
Episode
me,
3 was Revenge of the Sith. And that
yes,
was
and that's the story I like because you see Anakin become Darth Vader. That's the story I like. I always
okay,
like
so
that
you
story. I
like
don't know why.
the final one of the prequels.
Yes, and I think a lot of people like that one for that particular reason.
There were some moments in it that I thought were truly iconic, like when Yoda walks into the throne room, shrugs his shoulders, and the guys go down. And Palpatine tries to run away, and he says, "If so powerful you are, why running are you?" That was an awesome moment. And the fight
Yeah.
between them was awesome. Yeah, the whole scene how Palpatine stole power and how it was all Jar Jar's fucking fault. That was great.
Look, nobody
Okay.
likes Jar Jar.
I have
Why?
a
Okay.
fucking
Why does no one like Jar Jar? Why does Jar Jar get all the freaking?
Have you seen Jar Jar?
He's a sax. He's a sexy donkey dick. I mean, he's just an annoying fucking character.
Yes.
It's like, okay, CP3O could be Jar Jar if they put too much of him in there, but they're smart enough not to overdo CP3O because he would get really fucking annoying too if there was too much of him. Luckily, we get more bleeps and bloops from R2. Then we get his fucking constant whining because CP3O could rub you the wrong way after a while. But luckily, they just little things. But when Jar Jar's in the whole fucking movie and he just won't stop fucking talking, he needed to be a side character, a small side character.
Yeah,
Like
I
one of those
agree
you
with
would
that.
see in the little bar or whatever.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah, this is the story they interact with. Oh, introduces species the Gungans where they can set up the later battle. That's great. Don't let him tag along on all your fucking adventures. There's no point. He offers nothing to the party, the Dungeons and Dragons party. He offers nothing to your party.
right? So, Kimber, what is your favorite superhero? If you had to pick one, who would it be?
The one guy, this is sad. When I was growing up, I didn't really have parents per se. My parents were never home, so I was latchkey kid my whole life. And I grew up with money. I grew up in this big house. So basically, the person who raised me was Stan Lee because I would be alone all the time reading comic books. And because I had these feelings and because I knew kind of what was going on. But back then, there was no information about this. There was no online. There was no other groups you would know about that you would know that you're not alone. You were completely alone in my day. You didn't know that there were other people like you. You thought you were an isolated freak because you didn't have access to any information that there was what was going on with you. You just knew something was wrong. So when I would read comic books, and Stan Lee would basically be my mom and dad figure, the person I would identify most intensely with was Benjamin Grimm, the Thing. Because even though, everyone perceived him as a monster, he was the most human character in the comic. He was the most sweet human character if you could see past what he was. So as I grew up and these feelings started to develop, I started really identifying with Ben Grimm because, people saw me as different, a freak or a monster, but they didn't see who was inside. So I like the Thing.
What about you, Michaela?
Well, that's a weird topic for me because when I was growing up, my dad always liked Superman, so I kind of grew up with the Superman thing. But then I liked Captain America, but I didn't have any real reasoning for liking Captain America except, he was just truly just loyal and, that figure that you could rely on. But I want to ask something. When did you make the transition? Or are you still in the process? Or how did you know that you wanted to transition?
I
Like just
always
take
wanted
that
to.
leap.
I always wanted to, but it just wasn't. I mean, I grew up in an era where this wasn't acceptable, and I had to wait till a point in society where it was. And at the same time, I had a family I needed to care for and make sure that their needs were met before my own. I had a son. My son is now a full-grown man. I've been doing this a long time. My son's now almost 30. But when I started doing all this, my son was a much smaller child. And I didn't want him being bullied at school. I didn't want him being bullied from his friends. And I didn't want his life to be affected by my choices. So what I did was I intentionally held off until my son turned 18 to come out to him and explain to him that I was going to do this. And that way he was at least an adult. And not only could he emotionally handle the change in his parent, but he wouldn't be bullied or his life wouldn't be ruined because of my choice.
Wow, that's
That
really
makes a lot of sense.
So I was 39 when I started transitioning.
wow. Never knew.
Well, you know what they say, it's never too late.
Right. So back to the whole superhero topic. Of course, I already told Kimber who mine is. Batman. And she gave me the shit for it.
Look, with your name, you almost have to like Batman.
Really?
Okay? Like there's no
I
getting around it.
He is literally the lamest fucking superhero. First of all, he's the biggest douchebag in the superhero business. He's just a billionaire that could help Gotham in so many fucking ways, but he spends billions of dollars on his fucking car where he can go beat up poor people that have turned to crime because they have no options because he doesn't fucking help anybody. He just spends money on new utility belt. And then when he's not doing that, he sips wine with his rich douchebag friends. Fuck Bruce Wayne. His hobby, he has a hobby of beating up poor people. He's a fucking piece of shit. And then everybody he beats up is like somebody he's picking on. He's the bully. Let me explain. Is Batman a tough guy because he beats up on a dwarf with an umbrella? Is Batman tough because he beats up a skinny guy in a question mark outfit? Is Batman a tough guy because he beats the shit out of a lawyer with a handgun and a fucked up face? Poor guy. Is Batman tough because he beats up a street mime? I mean, come on. The guys that Batman beats the shit out of are the lamest fucking weak ass fucking comically, like, seriously, you tell riddles? That's what you do? Get the fuck out of my evil league of evil. Get the fuck out. I mean, his rogue gallery is the lamest fucking rogue gallery in existence. And then when he captures these guys, he locks them up in Arkham for a week. First off, I don't understand why they haven't fired or closed down Arkham because nobody stays in there more than a week. And then they're back on they don't learn a goddamn thing. Not one fucking thing. And I was explaining that if Batman was a real guy and he wanted to get the job done, he wouldn't need billions of dollars. He wouldn't have to be a playboy. He just calls himself Batman. He just has a bat. And if he captures he caps your fucking knee and he says, you come out of Arkham, I'll take your other fucking knee. Do you understand me? Don't do crime. Bad. And then you go into Arkham, he comes out, you cap his other fucking knee. Point made, right? So who are your reoccurring villains going to be? The cripple? The drooler?
The cripple?
After brain damage? The wheelchair? I mean, come on. I mean, even if you have reoccurring villains, they're going to be fucked up, right? So, I mean, what are they going to do? So
okay, my thing with Batman, it's like what they say with the whole Batman thing. They say growing up you idolize Batman, but then you find out Joker's right. And I'm just like, that is so true. Like, why would you like Batman when Joker's right?
All I'm saying is Batman has been trying to clean up Gotham for 60 years and he hasn't done shit.
He's doing it the wrong way. He's doing it the wrong way, the complete wrong way.
He's made no progress. Here, Superman lives in this super city metropolis, clean. The whole city is white. And fucking Gotham has been like the shithole of the country for
It's
the
the Wild
entire
West.
6 years. Batman has been making it better.
It's the Wild West, like you were talking about, like those cow pies and stuff. It's the Wild West.
Another protector. This guy is failing on so many levels. This guy has been fucking not doing shit for 60 years. Fucking get Superman in here. Fucking hire Superman. He did wonders with Metropolis. Get the fucking Batman out of here.
He's an emo kid. Look, Batman is an emo kid. I don't care what anyone says. Batman is an emo kid. He's just this big brooding figure with money. Okay, he probably goes and
him and like 50% of superheroes. Get the fuck over it, Martha. Martha, why'd you say your name, Martha?
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here, man. He is a horrible fucking villain.
I think the reason why I identify with Batman is because I see it every day living in Kentucky because our government don't give a shit about us.
So you're a billionaire.
Broaden your horizon.
Poor people as a hobby.
First of all, if I was a billionaire playboy, I wouldn't be here doing this. Okay, I'll be in fucking Hawaii right now.
You'd fix that too.
Or hobby? Is that what you do for fun? Is that how you beat up poor people? Why do you identify with this douchebag?
I identify with it because I see it every day with the government. That's why I said that. Because you see it every day.
But that has nothing to do with Batman, really. The government is crap. Gotham was crap. What does Batman have to do with that except he's contributing to? Do you want to contribute to like a crap government? Like a shit government? Like you would just want to be this big brooding figure that's lost his parents with all this money and you just want to beat up people?
If the guys walk around going, I am the protector of Gotham, and his objective is to help Gotham, why the fuck did he just spend $2 billion on his car?
Exactly.
He can look cool when he's driving around beating up poor people. Do you need a Lamborghini to fight crime? Fuck Batman. He's an asshole, man. Feed the fucking poor, you fucking piece of shit. Don't spend $2 billion on your ride where you look cool. You can drive a black Lambo down the street. I'm Batman. Fuck you, Batman. People are starving in Gotham, piece of shit.
He's basically just Bezos of Amazon.
That's what he does.
He's basically just Bezos.
How's that soup kitchen?
Wow.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
He is a piece of okay. Yes, he's a piece of shit. I admit it. I freely admit it. He's a piece of shit.
Okay. She brings up Superman, which is or Captain America. I love those two too. But they are truly selfless heroes. They live simply. They're not greedy fucking pieces of shit. They stand for what's right. Batman's a piece of shit. The only reason him and Superman don't get along is because Superman understands Batman's a piece of human shit. And he's like, dude, you're a spoiled rich person playing superhero. That's all you are. This is a hobby to you. You get your kicks playing superhero rich boy. He's like, you fucking lost your parents. Boo, 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 hoo. My whole fucking planet blew up, bitch. Get over it.
See, that's one reason why I like Captain America.
Family line. My entire family line's gone.
Exactly. That's one reason why I like Captain America, though.
And actually, his whole line isn't gone. He still has his cousin and his dog.
And Captain America, again, he lost everyone he cared about. They just grew old and died. He lost everyone in his life that he cared about. And Batman's like, Martha, why'd you say that name? It's like, you spoiled, rich, entitled, fucking white piece of shit. Fucking understand that Gotham needs more than your $2 billion Lambo driving down the street going, I'm cool. Fuck you, Batman.
Wow. Damn.
Hey, she has a point.
He doesn't die. He doesn't kill, but literally every movie he kills people left and right. Like Tim Burton's Batman. He fucking throws a guy down a chute 300 fucking feet. That motherfucker's dead.
If he's not dead, he's really fucked up.
He catches a guy on fire with his car.
I forgot about that. Damn.
He kills all the time. The guy's killing right and left in this movie. He's murdering people right and left. And the fucking rampage he went in with Batman versus Superman, he had to fucking kill at least 100 innocent people with his machine gun car. He has a machine gun car, but he doesn't kill. Fuck you. Come on.
Okay, now I have another question. I have another question for the class.
Non-lethal
okay.
gun car.
The new Batman movie that came out a couple years back, the Batman with that dude from Twilight in it. Yeah. What were your opinions on that one?
Okay. I thought it had 5 endings. I thought it should have ended 5 times. It's like, I don't need to see this ending where he talks to the Riddler. And then I don't need to see his tearful ending with Catwoman where they, for some reason, have to follow them along their entire ride. Why do I want to see their fucking ride? Come on, let's wrap this shit up. Come on. It's a 2.5-hour movie. Does it have to be this long? Come on, cut some shit. So it's just like when the movie wraps up, it literally has 30 minutes left of these 5 different endings that it has to feed you. And it gets to a point where at the end of the movie, you're like, Jesus Christ, just be over with already. Can I leave now? Are the credits, please? You're kind of doing this on your chair, hoping. Yeah. It's just like, it should have ended. It needed some shit trimmed, especially at the end. Other than that, it was okay. I thought the Riddler in Gotham was a much better Riddler.
I agree with that. I think the best series that Batman's ever done is Gotham. I'm sorry.
I forget his name, but the guy who portrays the Joker in that series is a fucking master. I think he's done the best Joker I've ever seen. Even better than Heath Ledger. And he did 3 different versions of him. He did 3 different versions of the Joker, and he nailed every one of them.
Yeah, and the sad part is that they didn't have the rights to call him Joker. They called him Joke Man. That was the biggest miscarriage of justice in that entire thing.
But yeah, I thought that was the best portrayal of Edward Nygma, about his schizophrenic nature and how he would have conversations with his other self. And I thought that portrayal of the Riddler was so well done that I was disappointed in the new movie because I thought the other guy had done it better. And I was disappointed because I didn't think the Riddler portrayal was as good as I had seen before. And I thought the guy in Gotham did such a good job that it took a lot of my enjoyment out of seeing the Riddler on the big screen. Because I'm like, I saw it on the small screen and it was done better.
Exactly. Like with me, I honestly, I watched it. I know it happened, but I don't remember any like great parts of that movie. And I'm a huge Batman fan, and I don't remember any great parts of that movie. I just don't.
The new film was very forgettable with one exception. I will say one thing about the new film with that pussy boy from Twilight. Colin Farrell was amazing. Yeah. I loved his portrayal of the Penguin. And when he came on set, and for a guy who's known as a pretty boy actor to really get into a role like that, and his accent, I thought he personified the character. I thought this version of the Penguin is somebody I really want to see more of. So the only thing I took away from the film is I want to see more of that guy. That's the character I'm interested in. That's the character that had me interested when I was watching him, had me riveted to my screen. That's the character I want more of. The only character that stood out to me in that entire film that I wanted to see more of was the Penguin. And you didn't get to see much.
Yeah, you really didn't.
Aren't they making a Penguin? Aren't they making a Penguin series that's going to be going to Max?
They are, yes. Because I guess there's a lot of people that felt the same way. The only good thing that came out of that movie was Colin Farrell. Everyone was like, "Holy fuck, he makes a great Penguin." Who would have thought? Who would have thought Pretty Boy Irish makes a great Penguin?
Right. So, what was your take on when Gotham ended? Did you like how it ended, or would you change how it ended?
I didn't watch it all the way through. I Walking Dead did. There are certain series that I'll watch and I'll watch and I'll watch. And when they become repetitive and when I feel like I'm being spoon-fed the exact same thing over and over, I start losing interest. It happened with Orange is the New Black. I just stopped watching that because it was the same shit over and over and over. And a lot of these series, it's just like The Walking Dead. They go on too long. where their premise has worn thin at that point, and they don't know when to stop because they keep trying to milk the cash cow. And it gets to a point where I start losing interest. And Gotham was great. It had me, but it just kept repeating the shit. And there's only so many times you can resurrect the Joker. So many times you can do the same thing over and over. I just lost interest over time. So I didn't complete the series. I think when I left was when he was the personification of the suave Joker.
Okay.
That used to be like the brother that turned evil.
Yeah. So now let's talk. Now let's transition from superheroes into horror because we all like horror films.
I was
What's your
just about to say, Supernatural milked it too.
They still are.
That's what I'm saying though. Like they just got really weird there for like a season or two, and then they kind of went back on the rail. But they derailed so much, and it's like it should have ended right there.
If you give nerds too much, they lose interest and they stop watching your shit. But if you don't give nerds just the right amount, they get viciously pissed. For example, Firefly. They didn't give the nerds enough of Firefly. They gave them too little of Firefly, and fucking the whole nerd world blew up and said, we're all going to kill you now. You give us our Firefly.
Right.
It's like you got to give the right amount to nerds. You can't give them too much. They get bored of your shit. But you got to give them
We're very temperamental.
Yeah, exactly.
What I would do is for the nerd audience, give them 9 solid episodes, and that's how you end it right there. Because I think that's the appropriate cutoff time.
To me, by far, the best superhero property that has been produced recently that I watched and I was so goddamn impressed with, and I loved every second that I watched, was Peacemaker. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I haven't watched that yet, so
it's so good. I enjoyed every minute that I watched. From the opening credits, I couldn't skip the opening credits any time. There's so many episodes I had to watch the opening every single time because it's so goddamn entertaining. And once you see the opening, it sets what the show's all about. And it's over-the-top comedy, and John Cena is so good. And the series is so good. And they make fun of DC so much, but they do it in a respectful way. Like when he's going off about how fucking Aquaman fucks fish.
I like the boys.
Peacemaker has to do this, career day at a school, and they keep asking him questions about, what real superheroes, because they've never heard of him, and he starts getting pissed. And he starts talking shit about other superheroes, like, Aquaman fuck fish, right? Fuck fish. He said that. It's
Ariel's first boyfriend.
Dude,
it's like John Cena was born to play. He just plays this big goofball. And it's about his heartfelt redemption story from being a piece of shit nobody likes to being a good guy. He becomes a good guy in the series, and it's a great redemption arc.
Yeah,
masterful.
And honestly, whenever he said that Aquaman fucks fish, I fucking died.
They do it so masterfully because when the series starts, it's just like Suicide Squad. You hate this motherfucker. He's the biggest douchebag you've ever seen on screen. He's just unlikable asshole in every way. But as it progresses and he develops as a human being, you start rooting for the guy because he becomes so goddamn lovable. He's just a fuck up, and you realize that he's had a fucked up life. And the only reason he's done these bad things is he's had a super fucked up life. And he's just trying to get by and be a good guy. He thinks he's a good guy, but everybody sees him as a villain. And it shows his emotional growth to really becoming a good person. And I just thought it was so well done.
It's amazing. Like the one scene that sticks out from Peacemaker for me is whenever he's having sex with the prostitute chick, and he's like, freedom.
My favorite part of the whole series was when he gets his first taste of redemption, and it's the second fight with Judo Master. When you get to see Peacemaker kick some fucking ass, when he's had enough of being a punching bag. He just fucks up Judo Master, throws him into vans and shit. When he does his first superhero leap onto the pavement. That was great because I was pumped at that point. I was all in. I was like, all right.
Here we go. Let's do this.
Because at this point, you get to see him do nothing but fuck up and fail the whole series. So this
Yeah,
was the first time you get to see him try to redeem himself and succeed. Because you feel
exactly, and it
so
was
bad
great.
for him. He's such a tragic character, but he's so likable, but he's so tragic. Like
Yeah,
his whole father's.
they're actually working on season 2 right now. So
I hope so. James Gunn is a master. I'll watch anything that motherfucker makes. It's like Quentin Tarantino. I adore Quentin Tarantino. There's not a
oh
fucking film he's made that I don't like.
wow, seriously?
Yeah, I think Quentin Tarantino is a master when it comes to filmmaking, especially when
He
it
is
comes to
really
capturing
good.
dialogue.
Nice. So let's segue from superheroes and go into the horror genre since we're all big horror fans. Um, what is your take on them trying to revive the Jason franchise?
Let
Why?
it die.
They're trying. I don't know.
Where did
They're
you take
trying.
this character? It is the entire base of the character means that no matter what movie you make, you will have to completely recycle a movie that's been made 9
Mm-hmm.
times. There's nothing more to that character. Character wear masks, character hack up teenagers. That's it to him. There's no character development. We know his mom died. We know his whole story, but it can be told so quickly in one movie. Everybody knows the story. You're not going to do a reboot where you tell a story. What's the point? You're wasting screen time. Everybody knows who Jason is and where he comes from. Or you're not
Exactly.
American. So you don't,
And in
it's like,
2008,
it infuriates me when Batman movies do that shit. I don't fucking need to see his parents die. I've literally seen this shit 15 times. I know his
yep.
fucking parents died. Everybody knows his fucking parents died. We know
The
Batman's
thing
story.
with Jason in 2008, they had the guy that plays as Sam Winchester. They had him be like the new embodiment or something for Jason, and like he was possessed by Jason. I fell asleep through it. It was that boring. It was so slow, didn't make any sense.
The other
It
challenge
man,
with
look,
Jason or the Halloween movies is when
Mhm.
you have a villain that you are literally turning into your protagonist. You're turning them into the hero, the star. You're turning the villain into the star. He's now the star of the movie. But if he doesn't talk, he can't carry your fucking film. He can't express any emotion. When you have films like Willy's Wonderland, Nick Cage is amazing in it. He never speaks, but he says everything with his face. He emotes. You know what he's feeling. But when you're wearing a
so
fucking
with Michael,
mask,
it's a mask. Yeah.
yeah. And literally any actor could do this shit. You just, come on. How are you going to get involved with this character? All you do is you watch a movie to see, it's a Saw movie. You watch a movie to see people die and see how they're going to kill people. That's all it is. It's a shallow, stupid fucking series. It's just a setup of kills. That's all it is. It's a big
Yeah,
scary guy that kills you, and all you do is you watch all the Friday the 13th movies to see the different ways Jason's going to kill people. But that's the only reason you even buy the ticket. There's nothing to the movie. There's no substance at all. So I'm with her. Why? It's fucking Reese's End. Let
Well,
it
see, it's
fucking
like
die.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I really liked the Nightmare on Elm Street series, but
At
it
least he has
started to get really
personality.
repetitive. It got
Yes.
repetitive. And then in like
Even
I think it was 4,
getting
they
people
decided to say he was they were pretending to be in dreams or something just
that was
so that
3.
they would
That
keep
was
was it in
that was
3?
3. That was
Okay,
3.
yes,
yeah,
that's what I'm
Nightmare on
saying
Elm
though. It
Street.
got weird.
Yeah, it peaked at Dream Warriors #3, and then that's when it should have died. It should have been a trilogy. It should have worked up to Dream Warriors. That was a great way to end the series. It was a high note. Dream Warriors was really well done. If they had ended it there, we would have always had these fond memories of how good that trilogy was, like Star Wars. But they kept
Yeah,
milking that cash cow and making worse and worse films until we look back on it like it's a fucking joke.
yeah. I mean, like in going off of that, like after 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the Nightmare on Elm Street series was just stupid. Like it
Well,
really
see,
was, and it
here's
especially got stupid around 6.
It
here's
became
something
it
I'm
became a
gonna
joke dreams. How is he going to kill people?
yeah,
Yeah,
here's something I'm gonna introduce to the class here. Let's take a look at these slasher films. What do they all have in common?
you kill people.
Besides that,
That's pretty much it.
you
There's
kill
really
people with
no.
big tits. Just think
Also,
about it.
true.
Tits
Also
sell,
true.
okay?
Kills
So
a bunch
they
of guys.
have that in. But think about it. That is the one common denominator here. And back when these movies were coming out, like in the 70s and stuff, that wasn't like a big, huge thing, on theater stuff. So when they were putting it in there, it was the cash cow. It was the, hey, I'm going to go to the theater to see some boobs, you know? So, I mean, that's what I think made them go so long is because of
That's
that.
because you're touching on a very valid point because what Friday the 13th is, you saw through the veil because Friday the 13th wants you to believe it's a more modern horror film, but it's actually an homage. It's actually a throwback. It's a grindhouse film. They're
Yeah.
bringing a more modern take on the 70s grindhouse films with Friday the 13th. It's totally set up like a grindhouse film. So it's just, yeah, it's meant to be that grungy grindhouse. It has nothing to it. It's a very shallow experience of you just go to see tits and death and blood. It's a grindhouse movie. It's just a throwaway grindhouse movie of no substance. Just entertain
See,
yourself when you get.
the thing is, you got to look at these generations that are like watching these in that era. Like, okay, my mom, she was like a 50s kid. So back then, gore, slashers, tits on film, it wasn't that big of a thing. But when they grow up and they're seeing this stuff on the theater screen, they're like, oh boy, that's new. That's fantastic. It's like touchscreens when touchscreens first came out. Everybody wanted a touchscreen because they were so new, but they all sucked. So here's these movies that are coming out and they're slasher, they're gore, they're big tits running around, everyone's gonna go see it because it's new, but they all sucked.
Yeah.
They're basically the horror franchises are trying to do what Disney is doing and reboot all their shit and hope that this modern audience will bite on what the older audience liked. But the new version is not as good as what we got, so they're not going to get any new
Exactly.
fans.
No.
It's like they're still
Everything.
using that repetitive, slasher tits. Yeah, it's just not it. It's a cookie cutter thing.
Yeah. And honestly, this kind of goes into the whole thing with, anything in media is kind of a rehash of something else. It's the same way with professional wrestling. Everything that happens storyline wise in professional wrestling you can literally take that same storyline, infuse it into a movie or infuse it into a soap opera or whatever, and it still works. It's just a rehash of everything that we've already seen.
Well, there's a difference in rehashing storylines, like doing another Transformers movie, doing another fucking Creed or Rocky movie. That's just progressing the same story and telling the same story over and over. However, there have been some modern films that have truly impressed me with their originality that blew me away. I'm like, I haven't seen this before, and I really had an amazing experience. The most amazing movie experience I've had recently, where I was blown away by a movie, and when I finished watching, I was like, that was a great movie, was Bullet Train. I was so fucking impressed by Bullet Train.
Yes.
It was original. It was funny. It was action packed. It was just so goddamn entertaining from start to finish. It had me and entertained me the whole. I couldn't ask more from a movie. It gave me the greatest ride for like 2 hours. It gave me this amazing ride. And when it was all over, I just felt great about it. It was a great experience. I'm like, that was a great movie.
Right.
And Guns Akimbo did that for me too. I was really blown away with Guns Akimbo.
Right.
I never watched the Harry Potter films. I wasn't familiar with that actor, Daniel Radcliffe. But
Right.
the trailer looks so weird. I'm like, I don't think I've seen anything like this before. And when I watched it, I was blown away. I'm like, this is original. This is great. This is fucking
Yeah.
Now
entertaining.
see,
This is time.
the two movies I like the most, as far as like horror and stuff that are more modern, is Lights Out and The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Autopsy of Jane Doe being my favorite because it's one of those things like I kind of like the story because it's this witch that is in our era, but she's like cursing everyone that works on her body. And she's eventually going to be revived, but it doesn't show any of that. So I'm just like, it made me want more, like a sequel to it. And
Yeah.
it's like I don't think that they're going to make it, and it's so disappointing. And then Lights Out, it's like it kind of took a different twist on the whole shadow person and like what lurks in the dark, and I kind of liked that because you don't see that much in horror. You see like ghosts and stuff like that, but it wasn't like how it was done in Lights Out. So I really liked it.
I haven't really watched much modern horror. I mean, I kind of gave up on the horror genre after a while, usually in the early 2000s when everything started becoming extremely CGI heavy. I think that
Well, see, they also
horror,
redo the same thing over and over again, like college kids get drunk, Ouija board, ghost.
yeah, and like things like low budget movies like Slither or something still hold up today because I
Yeah.
think that horror is a genre that really needs practical effects to sell what it's trying to do. I think if you look at the difference in the Thing remake with all the modern CGI and the original, it sells the point that horror really needs that visceral, real thing there to bring the audience into the experience to bring out the terror. Because if it looks fake, they're going to be distanced from it, and you're not going to get that emotional fear. I think horror really necessitates a physical prop, a practical effect that an actor can interact with, and you can see on screen. You know it's real, and it's dripping goo. I mean, when the alien is in somebody's face and the goo is dripping off the inner mouth, and you know what's going to happen. It
Yeah.
just, in horror, practical effects like in The Thing or Alien adds so much to the story that I think CGI takes you out of the story, because then I'm sitting there going, well, I know that wasn't real. That was fake. That's fake as fuck. I'm
Exactly.
watching a fucking video game here. Okay. That's why I
See,
stopped
that's
watching
kind of like
Marvel.
why I liked Lights Out, because it's like everyone has that feeling like when you turn on the light, turn off the lights, and you go to your bedroom or whatever, you kind of have that little feeling of like fear. Some people do, or like running up steps when it's dark and you got to turn out the light and it's in the basement, or whatever. There's that little spooky factor to it. And Lights Out kind of took that and was like, what if there was a monster in the dark? And you could only see them when the lights are out, and that's the only time that you could fight back against them. And it's like, but you would have to face that fear of what's lurking in the dark. And I just really like that because like you said, CGI isn't that great, but this wasn't super CGI heavy or anything like that, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, a lot of horror movies will keep it small, which is nice, and they don't
Hmm.
rely on CGI. But I used to really thoroughly enjoy Marvel movies, but after Endgame, I can't handle them anymore because they've just become a cut screen, a video game cut screen. It's just CGI vomit everywhere. Like the new Ant-Man movie was just so. It's just a few people standing in a studio with CGI vomit everywhere, and it just. I don't feel like I'm watching an actual film anymore. I feel like I'm watching an animated movie.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I can't handle the how much CGI has gone into the recent Marvel movies. So yeah, CGI heavy films like the DC shit, like when I see the trailers for fucking a new Shazam or Black Adam, I'm like, Jesus, that's a lot of CGI vomit. That's a lot of
Yeah.
CGI vomit. Or even the new Jurassic Park, it's a lot of CGI vomit. The older movies look better. That's only
Yeah.
possible. They had practical effects. It's like, when will you get through your fucking head? Spend your money on practical effects. Your older movies look better for that reason.
Exactly. So we are nearing the end of this journey. So I'm gonna pose a question to everybody. If you had to pick one movie to watch for the rest of your life or whatever, what would it be and why?
Army of Darkness, because
Okay.
Campbell's the fucking shit. And I've seen that movie hundreds of times, and it never grows old for me. I always want to hear him talk about his boomstick.
I would probably say Broken Hearts Gallery. And it's just because it's a funny, feel good rom com. And sometimes you just need a nice little cozy movie.
For me, it would probably be let me think here for a second. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, because that movie actually genuinely terrified me. and
I
I
thought you were
enjoyed
about to
that
say a
movie.
Batman movie.
Johnny Depp fan,
No,
right?
no, I'm not gonna say Batman. Don't get me wrong.
And
Maybe not
you
first.
like it because it's his first appearance, and you're like, oh, that Johnny Depp's a dreamboat. That was his first appearance.
But anyways, how do I come back to that? I mean, seriously. But anyways,
That's
thank
why
you.
you like it because you liked, it's Johnny's first movie.
Yeah, it was Johnny's first movie, and that's what got him out of doing 21 Jump Street. That's the main reason why he did it.
Down on Jump Street, jump. I love that. I used to watch that. I'm old as fuck.
I never watched it.
Aww.
Oh, now you gotta go watch it.
I'm sure it's on Tubi somewhere. I'm sure I could probably find it.
It's so bad it's good.
It's so
It's
bad.
like
It's
Like
good.
Killer
So
Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, it's like guys in their 30s. They're obviously in their 30s. They're acting like cool teenagers to, catch drug dealers. Like, hey, I'm hip. I'm another teenager, even though I'm 6 years old. Guys, hilarious.
all right, I have one last question for Kimber. If let's say you write the ending of your book, how do you want it to be? How do you want it to be written? What do you want the world to remember about you?
That she died at 95.
A nice long life.
A nice long life.
I didn't think I'd make it this long, so hell, come on.
Right. Well, this has been fun. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Michaela, for being here. Thank you, everyone in the chat for being here.
Guys.
We'll be back next week with a sexual world record holder. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. So,
oh yeah, it will.
What do they hold the record for?
They basically have hula hooped the longest with a vibrator in their pussy.
Oh, now she wants to know how she's going to break the record.
Who verified this record?
The Sexual World Records.
Yeah, Sexual World Records.
That's an actual.
Yes.
I will send you the information. Okay.
Send her our very first podcast. Send her the very first one. Look, first camera to be set on fire.
The first camera to be set on fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Okay.
I mean, it's what she's known for, and she's about to attempt another world record later on this month for the world's largest bukkake.
Okay, you gotta have your goals, I guess.
I guess I'm just interviewing them, okay?
I like my job, but I don't like it that much. I mean, come on.
Like, I'm just interviewing people, okay?
I'm not gonna say the largest bukkake or get set on fire. I'm not gonna fucking hula hoop with a fucking dildo up my ass.
It's what they wanted to do, and they got a world record for it. So, and she'll be on.
If they can find jackasses to do this kind of shit, that's great. They can find some jackass to fucking hula hoop with a fucking dildo up their ass. More power to them.
And she'll be on. Wow, I'm trying to segue here. Can we just stop talking for a second? Thank you. Anyways, she'll be on the 10th, and also after that we have an OnlyFans girl coming on the 11th, and she does anything fetish wise that you could possibly want.
Oh,
and isn't that the one where my my autocorrect kept wanting to change her name to Violent, like violent person?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And honestly, if you pay extra, she might get violent with you. You never know.
Yeah, that's.
But anyways,
I think that's what my autocorrect was trying to do.
Anyways, thank you for the conversation, Kimber. It really was fun. I enjoyed it. I've never.
I enjoyed it
this
too.
hard.
It was really fun.
I've never laughed this hard. Seriously.
Yeah.
Especially at Batman.
Yeah,
wow.
Hopefully you'll change your mind about the fucking douchebag hobbyist that goes beat up poor people.
Fuck Batman.
$2 billion on his Lambo where he looks cool doing it.
Okay, fine. I'll change it now right here for everybody. What about Deadpool?
Okay, Deadpool is fine. He's okay.
Well, I think I'm getting sick of Ryan Reynolds. The reason is
Yes, but
because
I still like
Ryan,
Deadpool.
I'm tired of Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. Literally, the Hitman's Bodyguard, the guy he plays in that is Deadpool without a costume.
Yeah,
He's
that's
the
all.
guy in
That's all
Free
he can
Guy.
do.
Free Guy is he just plays himself. Free Guy is Deadpool without a costume. It's just like he has no range as an actor. Yes, he's entertaining to watch, but eventually it wears off. It's like Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I used to love
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, but you get fucking tired of the same shtick, or Bobcat Goldthwait, or anybody that has a particular shtick about them. It grows old after a while, and you're like, I'm just tired of it. I've seen it.
yeah.
You have no
Ryan
range.
Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is not good at playing a range of characters. Like whenever he
Yeah.
did Green Lantern, I saw Van Wilder.
If you have no range as an actor, people are eventually going to get tired of your same shtick, like Jack Black. I used to like Jack Black, but you get tired of the shtick after a while, and you're like, you got no range, man. You're just the same person over and over and over.
I will say this
Yep.
though, I love Jack Black as Bowser in the new Super Mario movie.
That's because you just have to listen to his voice and not
Exactly.
see his whole Jack Black bullshit.
Exactly.
Of I'm the clown, watch me, have your attention on me, I'm a clown.
Exactly. But I
He's
will
like,
say
"Oh, man,
this,
it's Charlie."
yeah. Like honestly, he should go the route of just doing more voiceover work, honestly, in my opinion.
He
Yeah,
probably
I mean,
will now that he's a little older and stuff like that.
yeah, he has a big mountain man beard now.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
fucking Mandalorian. I was okay with season 3 until him and Lizzo showed up and fucking ruined my episode of Mandalorian. Fuck Jack Black. Worst fucking
So
episode of
hold
Mandalorian
on.
ever.
You actually watched The Mandalorian? I've never seen an episode.
Oh
You
my
mother-
god. What?
You motherfucker.
I've never seen it. I've always sat down to do it.
Okay,
But then I would
okay,
get
homework
busy doing
assignment.
something else.
You cannot leave your house until you sit down and you watch The Mandalorian. You cannot. You can't go take a
Mandalorian
shit.
is-
Okay? You gotta watch it.
First of all, Michaela, I kind of can't do that considering we have to film our trailer for our movie next
I
week.
don't care. We can put that on hold for a minute because this is more important.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't
I'm-
believe
You have to be in the loop.
Wow.
I sat down to watch it, and then I get busy doing something else, either for
It's
the
already on
wrestling
season
podcast.
3.
I know.
James.
Okay?
James.
The only way you're going to know the whole story is if you watch season 1, season 2. Then you have to watch Book of Boba Fett, because there's a couple of episodes in there that tell you what you need to know before season 3.
Okay, I can do all that. It's not a big deal. It's called
better.
Disney Plus for a reason. Okay.
Well,
You better
but
be
they
taking
use-
that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But anyway, okay, I just recently started back watching American Horror Story. Don't judge me.
That got
Anyways,
repetitive too.
That's another one I gave up on. After that Apocalypse one, I was like, go fuck yourself. This is stupid.
Yep.
the one that my favorite season of American Horror Story was Hotel, and not for the reason everyone's thinking. Okay.
I liked Hotel. I liked the circus one. I like the insane asylum one. But when they did the apocalypse thing with the satanic cults and the witches, I was like, this is so fucking stupid. I'm fucking done.
Right.
It was
Everyone
just
thinks
dumb.
everyone thinks I like Hotel for Lady Gaga being in it, and I'm like, that's part of it. The other part of it is I actually want to go visit that hotel where it was supposedly based off of.
Oh, the Murder Hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually want to go visit it one day. So hopefully that happens.
The Holmes
But-
Murder Hotel. The H.G. Holmes Murder Hotel.
You know, there's a thing about Holmes. They think that he was originally Jack the Ripper
Yeah,
because when he migrated over, the Jack Ripper killing stopped.
I actually
Yeah,
looked
but
into that.
Yeah, they've pretty well discovered who Jack was. They've pretty well identified him.
Yeah,
I
actually
just think
looked
it's a
into
cool
it.
theory, though. Like, regardless, it is a cool theory. Like, it is based in some sort of logic, unlike these other things with the tinfoil hats.
a bunch of researchers finally narrowed it down to a butcher that had syphilis, that was suffering brain damage from syphilis.
I can see that actually.
Wow.
That would make sense.
Yeah, they have a bunch of stories and documentaries on how they discovered it and what evidence they used to narrow down who Jack was and all this shit. It was an interesting documentary if you're really bored and want to watch documentary.
Nice. Might check that out. But anyway, thank you for being on. Thank you, Michaela, for being here. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And we'll be back next week with the sexual world record holder for hula hooping and a vibrator in her pussy. I don't know what my life has become. I used to fucking do commentary for wrestling, okay?
I'm glad you didn't ask me to come on here and fucking hula hoop with a vibrator in my ass.
I wouldn't ask you to do that anyways.
Well, obviously, you bring people on to do that.
She's gonna talk about
but they don't do it on the stream. They do it for their own streams.
I only do wholesome.
You only do wholesome? Really? I've never mind. Wholesome shit, my ass. I've seen your streams.
I'm very wholesome.
Anyway.
In all honesty, you do seem like a wholesome type of person. So, I mean, like a very genuine person. So, I mean, I can't really say that's wrong. So,
I'm wholesome. And there's got to be something good to me. I've been married for 25 years now.
Wow, 25. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Never knew. That's freaking amazing. So, okay, hold up. Now I have a question.
Okay.
How does the marriage survive what you do? Like, how does are there boundaries set? Like, how does this work?
We've always been polyamorous. We believe that you can be in love with somebody without the insecurity of feeling the need to own and possess them. If you're jealous that your woman is paying attention with some other man, it comes from your own insecurities. We don't really have jealousy or insecurity about one another. If you find somebody attractive and you don't act on it and you suppress it because of your vows, eventually your willpower will get the better of you and you'll slip up and you'll cheat on your partner. So it's very natural for you to want to sleep with other people. We all experience that. But instead of repressing it, we act on it. If she says, I want to sleep with that guy, I says, have fun. She comes home, tells me all about it. It's not like she's going anywhere. It's not like she loves him. So it's a physical act. It's something that we have fun doing. It's like, hey, I'm going to go out with the guys. Okay? Have fun. Be responsible.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool. I like that. But anyways, thank y'all for being on. We'll be back next week. And of course, my life has gone in the shitter. Yay. But again, thank you guys for being on, and we'll be back here next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.